All right, everyone, back in the car we are. This is going to be my reactions to the League of Legends 2024 World Championships quarterfinals. I know it's a bit late, but I was busy, and that's just how it is. Prediction video will be up very soon as well for the semifinals. Hopefully, getting that done in like an hour from recording this. No promises. What can I say? Please make me a millionaire so I can do this as a job. Then you'll get really convenient content. That's a good reason to share with your grandmother or anyone. So let's get into it. Weibo versus Longzhou Gaming, I think. LNG, I think that's what it stands for. This series, I really expected LNG to come out and just look a lot more dynamic. I mean, they took that first game, but after that, Weibo just kind of played their way, and man, does this team know how to win and when they can win. Just absolutely taking a single opportunity, and they're so good in those moments. They know exactly what they have to do, and it's like, bam, all in their favor, and it was 3 games straight of just that. They looked like on point, clean, no real complaints about how they looked. I mean, they lost the first game, but can you really be mad they got the next 3? Really showed me up and showed that they're more of a, not as much of a fraud as we thought. They're a little more complete. They know how they have to win. They're not the best mechanical team, but they just know where their opportunities lie. Overall, pretty fun series as well. I mean, this was the Thursday series, probably the least hype of any of the series just because it was the only one that was inter-regional, so that always kind of puts a damper on it because it just doesn't really feel like a World Championships type thing. But hey, that was a fun series to watch regardless. So let's get into the next one. Absolutely, probably the most exciting game for game of any was BLG versus HLE, a 3-1 for BLG. BLG absolutely showed up in form. This was their old ways. I mean, if you read what people were saying after game 1, maybe you wouldn't think that. But yeah, BLG showed up and said, take these mechanics and just eat them, because they shoved it right down HLE's throat. Not that HLE didn't hit back. These were some amazing games. Game 4, one of the best games of League of Legends I've ever seen. Elk is an absolute freak monster. Complete beast. Some of the best Kaisa performance I've ever seen in that fight. Just masterful stuff. And I think really to quantify this series, I want to take this quote from the League of Legends subreddit by someone named Gankarino, and this is what he used to describe this series right after it ended. He says, and I quote, "That's fucking League of Legends right there. None of that pansy-ass dick-tugging playing safe for late-game bullshit. Men puke, men poop on the Rift, men deliver their newborn baby on the Rift. Fucking hardcore, dick-in-the-ass, flex-pick, early-game, League of Legends, fuck it, run-it-down mid-game time shit." And honestly, I've never heard analysis more accurate. There's no Monte Cristo, no Thorin, no Jat, no anyone. Those are just random names I threw out. No analysis can really top that. I would have been quite happy if the analyst desk had actually just said that in unison after that series. It would have been the only way to really do justice to what we saw. Again, absolutely fantastic series. BLG looking like complete monsters. You might even have to say they might be your favorites for the tournament at this point. Because they beat the HLE, that one LCK, and they just looked so good in the team fighting. And it's that they're competent macro-wise as well. It's not just your LPL, oh, don't fight him and you can get your advantages. No, they have the macro behind them. This is a really good team, and they look in form. So yeah, awesome series. Zero complaints about it. Loved watching every second of it. And yeah, so let's move on to absolutely the worst series of this weekend was TES versus T1. Not in terms of hype, but in terms of gameplay. I have never been more bored watching League of Legends in my entire life. This was terrible to watch. Even as a T1 fan, I would think. I had friends who were like, man, that wasn't fun to watch. TES literally looked like they didn't know what they're doing. They got 0 kills in game 2. They got 15-0'd. I don't know how that's acceptable. Pain Gaming got kills against T1. It just looked awful. Just plays they went for. It literally looked like they didn't care. Not taken away from T1. They played well. Let it be known. They played quite well in the series, but they didn't have to do anything crazy. TS literally just looked flat. I mean, it was just so boring to watch. It really looked like T1 showed up and TS just didn't. They were not there. I'm trying not to make it seem like T1 did nothing, because they still had to play well. You can't just play bad and still win that series. They played quite well. I just think TS did not bring what we were expecting at all. This was quite it was not entertaining to watch, unfortunately. But T1 wins. LPL killers. Yeah, there's not much to say about that one. TS just looked like ass, straight up, and T1 looked like they should. It'd be hard for T1 to make that series look exciting, because if the team that you're playing doesn't put up any resistance, you're just going to steamroll them, and that's just what it looked like. It looked like a competent team beating a bad one, but it's like the same way, like if you watch Gen G versus the worst team in LCK, like it's not going to be the most entertaining. It's just that we had so much hype going in that it let us down was the issue, because this is not a performance you want to see in Worlds quarterfinals. Good God. Either way. Generation Gaming, hell be put upon them, versus FlyQuest, blessed be their hearts. Amazing series. FlyQuest played so well. Absolutely the best Western performance we've seen in a while. An international tournament, especially Worlds. It's so much hope for the region. Masu is a monster. So much potential in that guy. Rookie. I hope this roster stays together. The pocket picks, they knew what they needed to do to win those games. It's just that I think when they got Standard, they simply weren't good enough at Standard to beat Gen G, who's probably the best Standard team in the world, and you could see it. When the games weren't a little bit spicy and chaotic, you didn't bring it to them. It was just like, oh, it's 14 minutes, it's like a 5K gold advantage. Bam. I hated the fiddlesticks in Game 5. I won't lie, I did not like that shit at all. Just because, like, the champ just doesn't feel pro play worthy. In my opinion, there's just certain champs that, like, it shouldn't happen. But still, like, man. God, they could have won this series. And they didn't, and it was very sad to watch, but nothing to be sad about. And let it be known that Gen G still played well in the games they won. They did not play innately bad. FlyQuest just brought such a different style to them. They didn't know what to do. And Korea is kind of known for not really adapting at all. Like, this is the region that's like probably will pick Sejuani until the end of time just because it's Sejuani. It could be the worst champion in the meta. It'll still show up in this region. It's not something where new stuff gets tried. And Fly had the right approach in this series, just couldn't close it out, which is too bad. I'd love to see them against T1 because I think they could win that series, honestly. But in the end, that's not what happened. Gen G did what they had to win, had to do. Great drafting to bait them into picking Yon and just take Smolder into that matchup. It really just like locked down the game for them. It felt like the game was over at 3 minutes watching that lane play out. It felt like they just got completely schooled. It's starting to rain here. But yeah, that's my main reaction. So sad to see Fly go out like that, but overall a good set of quarterfinals besides the T1 series, which no fault of T1. TS just decided to play like crap and ruin the whole thing, which is too bad because a banger series with T1 in it was always fun. But the semifinals are looking good. 2 inter-regional matchups, not the most fun, but what can you do about that? They're still going to be good, especially Gen G versus T1, just even storyline-wise. Predictions for that coming soon. Hopefully it stops raining so you don't have to hear that the whole time. Shout out to Gankarino for the great quote for BLG versus HLE, and I will see you in the prediction video. Please subscribe. I'm begging you. I really want to be a millionaire and only work 5 hours a week. That'd be so cool. That's the goal. Humble. I'm very humble. All I want is $1 million. That's all I'm saying. Thanks. Subscribe and like, or don't.